Oh, y'all, I got to make that video over again. Okay. I was a little bit drowsy when I did that video. So I'm doing it over again. This is take two. Um, I was up all last night trying to get this computer up and going. So it's different now because the last time I bought a computer was in 2011. And that was a laptop. It's been a minute since I got a desktop because I got a desktop. And back in the day, oh, you pop a DVD in a CD and you were ready to go. But now, you these products must be registered, which is understandable because back in the day, you could take the disc and you can make copies and sell them to people, or or just give the disc to people and say, hey, you can borrow it. Susie down the street, she could use it. So these people were losing money. The corporations were losing money, and they want to make sure they're getting the most. Who can blame them? Because I want to make sure I get the most too. Okay. So now, you just register your software one time, and that is it. You get nothing else. Okay. So I had to do a lot. I had to do a lot of that last night to get up and running. I'm up and running now. It's all about getting set up and stuff like that, where I got myself comfortable back there, and I got myself comfortable back there in the back room, so we can go from there. I am so excited about this because I will be putting 100% into Patreon. Okay, let's put it like this: I'll be putting about 95% into Patreon, about 5% into YouTube. Okay. I've earned my stripes here on YouTube, my stars, my stripes, my badge, all of that. Okay. So now I am taking this right here to another level, a level where I have more privacy because I'm feeding a lot of swine. Okay. I can no longer feed swine. If the swine want to come in and feast, they have to pay for it. Please understand, for the people who are out there that support me, that this is a decision that I must make. Why? Because a lot of you will understand later on, content creators. You may not understand it now if you are just really into it and you're loving the attention and it's a wonderful place. Because I was there once upon a time because it was something new. I'm like, wow, I could pretty much, share what I've been going through with people and they want to hear it. But once you begin to mature and you start looking at it, whoa, I got a lot of people feeding off of my energy. I have had people to say they pray to me. It's time to kind of put yourself in a position where you can protect your energy. Okay, so that's where I am right now. Okay, so please respect my decision. And if you love the content, come out to Patreon. I'd like to give a shout out to one of my Patreon, someone who came in to support. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Thank you. I appreciate it. What I'm going to do is get it set up where you could either watch a video if you want to and support just individual videos if you want to, or you have the option of supporting me if you want to. It starts at $1. So if you want to do $1 a month, you can do $1 a month, or what you want to contribute. Or if you just want to see content, you can pay for only content if you want to. So very soon I will be doing a step-by-step video on showing you how to make a doll, how to make your own little voodoo puppet doll. And I will be doing it step by step, and we'll have the pattern, ready for you if you decide you want to print it out or you need me to send it to your house. That video will be $100 to watch. It's not anytime soon, but if you ever decided you want to see how I make my dolls, then I will have a Patreon ready for you to watch. But that's not anytime soon. I have a lot of work to do. I got a little home musical studio set up where I will be putting my music on Patreon for those who want to hear, that enjoy my music. I have been doing music on YouTube, and one or two people have come out, and I appreciate the support. It's funny because I was talking to Matt about it. I said, well, Matt, one of my videos got about 1,000 views, and he's like, 1,000? You need to be getting into 12 or 15,000. I said, well, Matt, you got to realize I'm controversial. So if it get 100 views for me, that's news. And he was like, oh, okay. So Matthew is one of my spiritual teachers and everything, and he also, you know, critiques my music and stuff like that. But anyways, because I'm gonna be doing some hoodoo. I was just playing around with it when I did run, 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 go and get my daddy's shotgun. Doing some old little old hoodoo, southern hoodoo tales and everything. That's what I'm gonna be doing on Patreon, talking more about the hoodoo thank you, baby, back in the South and how we did it and root working and all of that stuff. I will be talking about it on Patreon. Is to protect myself from swines and hyenas. Okay? Understand that. Now, that's not what this video is supposed to be about. What is this video about? Well, I did one video before this, and I was saying to all of those who admire Oya. Today is her feast day. It's February the 2nd. So if you want to honor her and recognize this powerful deity, make sure you have something ready for her, okay? Also for Oya's children, you better get up on it and get it ready for her. This is a new year. You better take care of your mama. I've been wearing her colors most of the week. I will be wearing her colors today, and you best better believe I'm going to take care of my mama. Now, let me talk to y'all. I'm going to make this brief because my videos won't be too long and lengthy on YouTube anymore. As I say, when I get into a topic for those people who want more, there will be a Patreon link there. Some of the videos will be like $1 to go in and watch. If you don't want to pay $1 to watch the video, that's because you're not necessarily interested in watching the video, and it saves me time and money, and it saves you time and money. Some of them will be a little bit more. Like I said, if I sit down and show somebody how I make my dolls, you best better believe, I feel like I should be compensated because it takes energy from you. You are expending your energy, content creators, okay, spiritual workers, to masses of people. Those numbers on YouTube, they don't really read the amount of views you're really getting, okay? You will be surprised. Now, anyways, oh gosh. Look. Oh, yeah. I look at a lot of this on YouTube. There's a lot of commotion going on, and this is the reason why I digress. Because at my age, the things that I may have condoned at 40, I don't condone at 50. Please don't understand it if you're not 50. Please do not try to wrap your head around that. That's just like Eddie Murphy said. He said, women, don't try to understand why men cheat. It's something that you just couldn't understand unless you were a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure women could say the same if they wanted to. Don't try to understand how it is to be a woman. You got to be a woman to understand how to be a woman. And it's really true. Some people may get upset, but I can't understand how it is to be a snail. Because I have to be a snail to understand what it's like to be a snail. Like they try to say how dogs see. Dogs see like this and bees see like that. You can, like a bee, a honeybee. We can talk all day long about how they see the world and how they view the world. But at the end of the day, we won't know unless we become dogs. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's one of those things. I'll never understand why men want to have multiple partners. I will never be able to understand that. I can say, well, maybe it's all a design by nature, and it's his way of being able to just procreate and make sure his genes are all over the planet. I really don't know the driving force between why a man would want to sleep with multiple people. I would never understand that. But I can understand as a woman why we make the decisions to do what we do. Like a lot of people wonder why we as women, we talk about our children a lot. Well, we do. The only way to understand that, I guess, is to have children of your own. But I think even a mother can understand. I mean, a auntie can understand that, because aunts, especially aunts who may not have had children, they see though their nieces and nephews as their children. So we tend to brag a little bit. Okay, let me give you an example. And like I said, if you're not a woman, you wouldn't understand this. We talk about our children a lot because we, as mothers, give them our light. I give to all three of my children my light, the moment of conception and the moment they were born. And all mothers do that. We give our children their light. My birth mother gave me her light. They give us a portion of our light. Once they give us a portion of their light, and I give my children my light when they were born, a part of me sort of dims a little bit, especially as they grow older, or they're grown and they're taking care of themselves. Like right now, we're getting a wedding ready right now for my oldest daughter. And it's a lot of work. It's something I've never done before. I've never done a wedding. I'm just gonna be honest. Me and Mr. Willie went and got married at an evangelist house, which was his cousin, Reverend Frida. May she rest in peace. And we just had a house wedding, and it was really nice. We had the tambourines and everything, and we were singing gospel music all over the house. I was a young woman at the time. I got married when I was 20, and it was just a feast event, and we had a glorious time. It was different for me. So I didn't have a traditional wedding. Well, my daughter wants to have a wedding. And she wants it to be different, and so different from what I had, in other words, and stuff. So now I'm always bragging on her, because I've given her my light. And when I look at her, not only do I see all of my labor, because all three of them are the fruits of my labor. You understand what I'm saying? I also see a reflection of myself, my mini me. I see my light in all of my babies. So that's why we tend to kind of go overboard when, like people like, dang, why they always talking about their children all the time? Because this is our, once again, this is our labor. And the only way to understand it, to get a good understanding of it, is to be a woman yourself. Okay? Now, there are some men who can identify with it, but then there's some people that don't understand it. I remember when my before I had my babies, my auntie had three grown children, and they were pretty much successful. One was he worked in the concrete business, and the other one was a carpenter and a general contractor. And the other one, I talk about her all the time, she has a professional baseball player son, and she was pretty much, her and her husband had a business as being computer consultants. That's when they would actually, way back in the days in the 80s, they would set your computer up in your house. Those things will cost you 10 or 15,000. Home computers have been around for a while. It's just they became mass produced in the 90s. But back in the day, you could own a home PC, which is a personal computer, if you had the money, 10 or 15 grand. And so he did that kind of stuff. He would build computers and stuff like that back in the 80s and set them up in your house and everything. And he made a very lucrative business off of that. So anyways, it was funny because my aunt would brag on them, and I had a cousin. They were right around the same age, and they had children, and they would just have a contest. Yeah, my daughter's gonna do this. Yeah, my son's gonna do. It was just like a huge contest of them two just bragging on what their children, their grown children, had accomplished. So at the time, I couldn't understand that as a young woman, but now being a middle-aged woman now with children, okay, is very understandable. So please do not minimize, what I've gone through, because I'm a middle-aged woman. I am not in them 20s, 30s, and 40s, but I've been there. But I wouldn't see things at that time the way I see them now. Okay? So please don't try to understand 50 unless you're here or you have surpassed it. I have some women who have surpassed their 50s. Now they're in their 60s, 70s, 60s and 70s. Who knows? 80s and 90s. I'm not sure about 80s and 90s because I don't know if 80s and 90s would be necessarily interested in all of this. But look, I would not try to understand what's going on in the 60s. I can't comprehend that. I'm not trying to at this point because it's useless to do so. That's just back like I never will forget my aunt was in her 50s, and at the time I was like, what? I think it was in my 30s or something. And she was like, I wish I could be back in my 30s. I would do so many different things, but at that time these things were not available to me and everything. And I was trying to wrap my head around how she perceived 50s, and I couldn't. I just couldn't, but I tried. And even now I understand why I was not able to, because of the place I was in at that particular time. Okay. So but I did have someone to tell me what it's like to be in the 60s, and she was telling me how difficult it was to get certain things in the 60s and stuff like that. I ain't gonna go into detail about what she was talking about, but anyways, like I say, I can listen, but I can't comprehend it. Okay. Okay, so anyways, but what am I here for after I have taken up 17 minutes? Trust me, the videos to come will not be this lengthy. They may be 10 minutes at the most, some of them shorter than that. Who knows? One day I may even do something longer, but you know, um listen to me. Today is Oya Feast Day. Hello? If you admire Oya, you better get her straight. But you ain't necessarily got to. But if you around here talking about you're gonna be doing this and doing that, you better get her straight. Now, if you just want to understand and learn more about her, okay, that's understandable. I just want to let you know to February the 2nd is her feast day. That's all I want to let you know. Today is Mama Oya's feast day. Okay. So go out and do what you gotta do, and for her, because she deserves it. Do good things for her. Don't play with her. Sounds like I heard thunder. But anyway. Um, but to her children. If Oya is your mother, you know you supposed to be having that table dressed up. Everything should be dressed. Cause I'm fixing to hop up and clean up that room and have that place nice for her and have her altar and everything straightened out. Hello? Now, I need to talk about some things real quick because I've been hearing some things going on social media and on YouTube that make me scratch my head. Um, Look, can I make this very clear to a lot of people who are listening and have a lot of controversy towards what I say about Oya or any of the Loa. Can I talk to you? Look, I'm hearing people, and I don't know exactly. I don't even think it's important to talk about what diversity they come from because that's irrelevant. Because I've even heard some. I've mostly heard. I've heard a couple of times. I haven't heard anyone that's I haven't heard anyone that's white or Hispanic or anyone from any of those groups have anything to say about this, or Asians or whatever. But I have heard people who would be considered black people say, and when I say black people, if you look at your skin and they would consider you black, regardless to what nationality you say you are or what country you come from. I'm talking about you. I have heard a few of them in social media say that the so-called African American, whatever that is, I'm assuming that African American means that you were born in America, okay, and you're two-sided, or you being twisted two-sided, meaning that when it benefits you to have your origins from Africa, you're being swung back and saying that no, you are a Native American or an Aborigine of the Americas. When it doesn't, when it benefits you to be an Aborigine, then you swung back saying, oh no, you're not that, now you're an African. So the tables will go back and forth. However, it suits the person that is addressing you. And I hear that mostly amongst the so-called African American, whatever that means. Look, for people who may identify with being the Aborigine of the Americas or the so-called African Americans, know that voodoo, the spirit religion, is still yours. Okay? It's the first so-called religion, as they use, our spirit religion on the planet. So it is said. Okay? You have just as much rights to your God-given rights as anyone else who wants to claim it. Because there are some ignorant heads out there that are, these are people I would say are, they look black, that are 1 minute telling you don't have any rights to it, which I know that I have rights to my heritage. Okay, I have rights to my ancestors because my father is Liberian. Okay, and I do have Liberian ancestry on my mother's side as well as Nigerian ancestry, because most there they even though there were black people here during the slave trade, there were also Africans brought here. Most of the Africans that were brought here, I'm only going to speak about Alabama right now, especially from the lower cities in Alabama. For us who are close to the coast, we the ship were the people that were on the ship were Nigerians. So I have blood ancestry to Nigeria, and a percentage of that. And so does most of the residents in Alabama, and which is very interesting here, because even the whites here in Alabama have, you know, a Nigerian ancestry too. It's facts. It's facts. Go ahead and wrap your head around it. If you're from Alabama and you're white, you got some Nigerian blood ancestry. If you are white and you have brown hair, okay, and brown eyes, and you tan well here in Alabama, guess what? You have some Nigerian and African ancestry. Okay. I never will forget there was a woman that came from Russia when we went to New Orleans, and there was a woman from Russia, and her skin was so white. I've never seen white people down south that look like her. She was able to tolerate that heat too, so she did pretty good. But she was a beautiful woman. She had real thick red hair, woolly hair on her head. Okay? And I saw her and I said, no, she is really from a place where there's not much light, much sunlight. But what I'm saying, these people down here have a lot of they have a lot of African ancestry. Okay, so they too will have African ancestors. Okay, so what I'm saying, we got to stop trying to tell people, hey, you can practice, but you can't practice. Because if you, no matter what color you are, and now you're in the spirit religion, and all of a sudden you are identifying, and it's a difference between identifying with the Loa. And I'm going to talk about the rest. And I'll leave that off. But look. So it's for a reason. No matter what color you are, there's an ancestor that's saying, hey, look, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Pay close attention to it. You decide at the end of the day if that's what you want to do. I'm not encouraging you. I'm just telling you, you got a diversity of races in your lineage, no matter what color you are, especially here in Alabama. I'll say this again. Just about all black people in Alabama have Nigerian ancestry. And so do some of the white population here in Alabama. Cotilda, look it up, that ship was the last ship to come in the port of Mobile. So they say, but who knows? But it came from Nigeria. It was an illegal ship. So we have Nigerian blood coursing through our veins. Now, this is what let no one tell you what you can do and what you can't do and this, that, and other. They cannot dictate to you. What they need to do is concentrate on what they should be doing. See, if we use most of our time concentrating on what we should be doing versus admonishing people for what they're doing as content creators, guess what? We'll be a whole lot more successful. I'm just here to bring the gems to you. Look, here's something else I'm hearing out in social media that I want to say personally for myself, the way I have experienced it, or have, after my experience, I have applied it to my own life. I hear people that and you know, if that's what they want to do, that's fine, but that's not the way mine work. Look, I see people choosing Loas. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, you got to be brought up in the culture to understand this. No, I mean, this is deeper than that. And I'm going to get to why it's deeper. Because if you got that ancestry blood with you, those laws are with you anyways. That's why African Americans are in the boat they're in. Because they are ignoring the law. And they're being punished. I use African American for you all. But I say they are, you know, they're Africans. That's who they are. They are Africans, and they are the aborigines of this particular continent. Okay? They have mixtures of bloods and races within them. But look, let me talk to y'all. I see people they latch on to certain deities and stuff, and then they say, oh, okay, then this is my mama. It doesn't work like that. It has not worked like that for me. Or y'all chose me. I didn't choose her. So if you're going out choosing a deity, you're using that energy. You may not be using it properly. She chose me. I went to the ocean and she came to me. I had no say so. Am I right? Ain't that how this works? Or y'all showed up 2017, April of 2017. She been here ever since. Every time I look at the clock, every time I look at the cell phone, the tablet, look at the clock or anything, there's always a 9 at the end. It's always 9. Her number, 9. It's been that way. I didn't choose Oya. So if you're out there choosing your dad, to just make sure you know what you're getting into. Make sure. She chose me. And when they choose you, I don't know if you can say, I don't want no parts of this no more. Okay? And why she comes, I have no idea. I got an experience I want to talk to y'all about a little later on. I think my time is pretty much up and everything, and I'm going to let you go. But for the future, if you want to choose a deity you identify with or lower, I can't say that you can or you can't. I'm just saying the way this works, they choose you. Okay? If you haven't already, please rate and subscribe. But to all of Oya's admirers and to all of Oya's children, happy Feast Day. Bye-bye.